Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Chat EbT. I'm your host, Mohammed Ebrahim Tayob. Now, I'm an avid cricket fan, so I gotta say I am super excited because today I have a very special guest. He is a member of the 2019 England Cricket World Cup squad, Mr. Adil Rashid. Adil, thank you so much for being here. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much for having me. Thank
No,
you.
it's absolutely my pleasure, man. How's it been? You know, you just recently came to South Africa. I'm sure you've been here many times. How's it been? How's your trip?
No, it's always good. It's always good coming to South Africa. It's a lovely country, nice place, lovely people. So nice coming back and spending time with some friends and family here. So it's always good coming back.
Brilliant. So Adil, you know, I've been actually very interested to ask you a question, right? This question, or this rather conversation, came up a lot in some of my earlier episodes. And we spoke about people choosing their careers, right? And you get a lot of youth that are very interested in going the, cricket route. But they always sort of, that same line that comes up that says, yeah, only 1 in 100,000 make it. And I always said that we should change that narrative and we should say, well, how do we make you the 1 in 100,000? So my question to you today is, how did you become the 1 in 100,000?
I don't think it's as easy as that because
Yeah.
sometimes I think a lot of it comes in the mindset of what you think, how you think, what do you want to achieve. A lot of it is just your journey is already written in that sense. So for me, it was always try to work hard, try to become the best in your field, and leave the rest in God's hands. So I had that kind of mindset. But along the way, it's always trying to say never give up. Always have the mentality of trying to become the best, but know that you can achieve something, regardless of where you come from. Because there's been many people from around the world that have come from nothing to reach the top. So it's that mindset of you can achieve it regardless of the conditions, regardless of your background, religion, or whatever it is. So I had that kind of mindset of knowing that it's possible. And that's what keeps you going, and that's what kept me going as well, is knowing that.
And what was the sort of moment where you sort of had that light bulb moment where you said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm meant to be.
I think as a young kid, when you were first starting off at the age of 7, 8 to probably 15, 16, it's just more so just enjoying the game, playing the game, enjoying it with your friends, having a passion for it. But I think when you get to the age of probably 16, 17, you'll have something that will click where you think, okay, there's a potential. I can go forward and make it as a professional cricketer. You will only know because things will start getting serious. You'll be playing higher cricket, getting to a standard where almost you're thinking, right, it's close to professional cricket. So that's where you're thinking, right, I can take it serious. So it's not a thing of, as a young kid of 6, 7, that you're thinking too far ahead because there's a lot that can happen in that journey. So you've got to enjoy your cricket as a youngster, play freely, and then you will know when the time is right that you think, right, this is something that I can, take as a profession. And for me, myself, that was at the age of probably 16, 17, when I started to get closer to playing professional cricket. And then at 18, I made my debut. So it's pretty much that age of between 15 and 18 where things started to get a bit more serious, where the cricket became a bit more, okay, right, I can step it up here.
You mentioned a very key word there. You mentioned the word mindset, right? So obviously mindset is a very big part of it, right? And you mentioned that at 18 you made your debut, right? I think a lot of people struggle to push past that you know what, there's such a limitation or there's such a small window of opportunity from the time you make your debut to have that impact performance where you then become a regular in the team. So what was going through your mind during that time? You young kid, you debuting for England, amazing dream come true. But does it sit in your head that, you know what, I really need to perform? I've got this very short window. There's 10,000 people behind me.
No, definitely. I think especially as a young kid, coming through at the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, because you haven't got the experience, you're playing, you probably haven't got the mindset as well, because as you get older, that's when things started changing, your mindset change and life changes. But I think as a young kid then, for myself, the mindset was completely different. It was almost like, I need to perform, I have to perform, I must perform. So when you have these kinds of mindsets, it definitely puts you under a lot more pressure, expectations. As a result, what happens is you start actually not performing. You start overthinking. You start thinking, what is he going to think? What is my coach going to think? Oh, I have to perform. I need to do well. Otherwise, I'm not going to get picked. I'm not going to get picked for the next game, and so on. So I think the mindset there and then for myself was that. And as a result, at that early age, when I had that mindset, I was not as effective. There was a lot more inconsistency, probably in performance, but also in the mind, because it wasn't consistent. You didn't have a free mind. You were always thinking of what other people were thinking about you. And when you get into that, I think that's a dangerous place to get, because you try to impress them as opposed to just playing the game and enjoying it and let it just flow. So I think it's really important that I think a lot of cricketers do go through that period as well. But as you play a lot more and as life goes on, you start getting more mature. You start realizing what life is, and you have other priorities as well as cricket, which then you put everything into perspective. Then you start actually changing the mindset of being more relaxed. You don't have expectations because everybody's on their own path. Everybody's doing their own thing. And that's where I think life changes, and that's where you can concentrate on. So it's really important that everybody goes through them periods, but it's important that when you have that mindset of you're not there to impress the people, or you're worried about what other people think, because then as a result, you won't fulfill your talent and you won't showcase your skill to the full potential, because you'll have a real negative effect on yourself.
Yeah, and I actually really agree with that, because I think it's that not I want to succeed. It's more going in with oh, I can't fail. And I think that's just poison.
100%.
Essentially. Yeah.
And that's not just in cricket, but that's through sport as well. Any sport, whether it's football, boxing, rugby, whatever it is. It's really important, because mindset plays a big part in the game. Obviously, you've got your physical attributes, but I think mindset is 60% is a lot played in the mind. People can be successful or go on a downward spiral because of their mindset of how they think, what they think. So it's important that people, switch that mindset to almost being free, so which allows them to actually express themselves and play.
And I think I like the way you put it, because me as a cricket fan, right? I've always loved the sport. I've always watched the sport, and you were mentioning that there's inconsistencies in performance, and I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, by the way, but I think that whole change for not only yourself but for the England cricket team came around 2015. I think it was past, the 2015 World Cup building to the 2019 World Cup, which was going to be in England. You could definitely see a very, very big change in mindset for the whole team. And then for yourself as well, where you became much more of a stable part of the 11 there.
But I think, like I said, the mindset of the team is always led by the captain. So when, our captain who came in was Owen Morgan at that time, 2015, his mindset was completely different. Firstly, his mindset was, we're all as one, regardless of background, religion, creed. We're driven towards one goal, to win the World Cup. But then also you've got to set your priorities right. Okay, right, we want to win that, but you have other priorities in life. You have family, you have your parents, you have people around you to drive that. I think so. That's what really made it special them years that we played. We had a real focus at a goal as individuals of what we are trying to achieve, but everybody was accepted. Everybody had a voice. Everybody can speak their mind, and that's what made it successful. And I think for myself as well is, you're mature. So at that time, 2015, which goes back about, I reckon, 15, about 11 years ago.
11 years, yeah.
So yeah, so I was then at that stage, married, kids. So you also have them different responsibilities, which then as you actually weigh up in life of, okay, what is my responsibility? So you work hard in cricket, you want to give it your best shot, you try your best, and then you let things unfold and let nature take its course in that way. And that's what plays a big part in it as well, because you've got to have a balance in life. I don't think if you're just too invested in the sport and you haven't got anything else in life which you can balance, which people around you can keep you grounded, can keep you, you need to speak to people, lend you an ear. This is the most important thing as well, is having people around you can trust and seek help from that can guide you along the way. So I was quite fortunate. I had my parents, my father, brothers. And the most important thing for myself is I had religion as well, which was the most important thing, which got me the connection, changed my mindset completely in life to allow me then just to maybe play the game and think, right, I'll give it my best shot and let, like I say, Allah, God be the decider in that.
I want to go a little bit back to, we talked about the fear of failing. And I think that happens a lot, even in, businesses. You mentioned all the other sport, right? Was there ever a time where you thought that, I'm never going to play for England again? And how did you sort of get over that hurdle?
I think you always have that, the fear of failure.
Yeah.
I think for me especially, I had a lot of that. Probably when I'm in 2009, I made my England debut in 2009. You have that then, the fear of failure. Because like I say, for myself, I've not experienced anything really in cricket. I was 19, 20, coming into cricket, the expectations, the fear of failure, because always wanting to perform, always wanting to do well, but you were scared. You always have that thing of, right, what if I fail? What if things don't go my way? And that, but always in my mind, I always had that in the mind up until, for myself, is things started changing. 2012, my lifestyle, my mindset started to change. You have married, you know, have kids, you have responsibility, and then that's when the whole mindset shift changed for me. Is, right, you know, what is my objective here? What am I trying to achieve? You know, is it just cricket, or is there actually more to life than just cricket? And that's what really got me going, because I thought to myself, right, there's a lot more life to cricket.
Yeah.
Before that, it was just cricket, 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 cricket. You know, you eat, live cricket. Sometimes too much of that really plays in your mind, especially when things don't go your way. You start overthinking. When you start overthinking too much, and it plays in your mind, your mood goes up and down. You're always on a big journey, as opposed to being consistent throughout. And which I found when I got closer to my religion and had that connection with God, I found that everything, then I was very much stable. And as a result, things then started taking a real incline. Yeah, because in 2009, played for England at an age of 21, 22, performed okay, didn't do well or whatever it was, then got out of the team for 4 or 5 years. So that period of 5 years, when I came back in 2015, was a challenging period. That's when I was like striving, trying to find things, trying to find my game, mentally as well, in terms of what my mindset was. It wasn't really great in that way. So that journey of them 4 or 5 years was a big journey of, right, okay, this is maybe potentially me not going any further.
Yeah.
Okay, right. It was very close to me being dropped from, like, say, my county, Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't performing, I wasn't getting picked. I think that's when the doubts creep in. That's when you think, okay, right, okay, maybe this is the end of the road. What ifs? Oh, I need to perform, I have to perform. So you're putting so much pressure on yourself that you probably had no chance to perform, because you put so much pressure. And then you overthink. I think, so that 3-4 years, there's a lot of that going through. Then 2012, for my journey, got married.
And then that just changed in
then
mindset
changed,
and priorities.
Met people along the way, mindset change, got closer connection to God, mindset change, and then all of a sudden, things took a big, massive incline in terms of back in the squad in 2015 for England. And then since then, my journey's, you know, always gone, alhamdulillah, always gone on an incline to now, like I said, playing for England, winning World Cups and the rest. So it's been an interesting journey for me, and the mindsets have always been, I've seen a big shift from 18 to 24, 25, from 25 to 30, how old am I? 38 now. So yeah, so I've seen a big mindset shift in all my journey throughout all of it.
Oh, that's
so
brilliant.
I've had an interesting one.
But I think, you know, you also touch on something that I think is also vitally important, is it wasn't just a single mindset from your side. And I think that's what it was a pivotal moment for, I think, England cricket, as you mentioned, Owen Morgan coming in and saying it's not just the individual, we're all going to be a unit, and we're going to change the mindset of the entire unit. And I think that really makes the difference, because even, I mean, like I said, you can take that in any other sport, in life, in family, in business. If you have one person with one mindset and the rest just going in a different direction, nothing is ever going to happen.
No.
But by having that unit, and I think you could really see that past 2015, when you guys started that bullet towards the World Cup, something's just changed there, and that's what it was.
I think that's the main thing, is the mindset. Because if you don't have everybody aligned to the same goal and what you're trying to achieve, you figure out very quickly there'll always be within that, there'll always be tension, there'll always be negativity, there'll always be breakups in that. But if everybody's aligned to the same thing, same goal, same mindset, regardless, that's where it comes. That's where it comes back to. Regardless of religion, background, where you're from, who you are, what you represent, irrelevant. You're all one, because we're trying to achieve something, and that's what Owen Morgan really brought in, because he was very, very respected in that way. People understood him. He was very, you know, easily approachable. Me and him was really tight. We spent a lot of time together. So that was really important, that mindset that we all had, making sure that, what is the mindset? Ultimately, yes, to win the World Cup, but most importantly, how are we going to get there? It's about winning games, but it's how are we thinking? How are we going to go about it? Are we thinking positive? Do we let things phase us, the media? If we lose a game, how will that affect it? So I think we weren't thinking that was irrelevant to that. We just had a real focus, a real goal towards achieving one thing and actually going for that. And everybody who came in the squad at that time from the outside, obviously there was changes along the way. They knew that. So as soon as they came in, they sensed, right, everybody's won here. There's no real different mindsets. Everybody's really gelling well together. The unity's tight. Not just the team, but that goes from the backroom staff as well, the coaches, the captains, it's always led by them as well, the managers. Everybody was in it together, which ultimately, in them 4 years, we became, I think probably started off in 7th in ODIs, 8th in T20s. Within a space of 2-3 years, we became number 1 in ODIs and T20s.
Yeah.
You know, so and all from the mindset shift, also from how we're going to go about things, how we're going to think, how do we play, and yeah, everything else just took over.
Oh, I love that, man. Now, as I mentioned, right, I'm a cricket fan, right? So I got to ask you, 2019 World Cup, right? You guys are in the final. What's that sort of feeling like, knowing that, you know what, it's Lords, you guys are playing in front of your home crowd, it's the final. Yeah, talk us a little bit through that. Like, what
I
was
think,
the
I
what
think
was
as
the
a
feeling?
young kid, I think it's always a dream.
Yeah.
As a young kid to always represent your country, that's one thing. But then to represent your country, play a World Cup final at home, Lords, London, on a weekend as well, like you say, you know, everything then just falls into place. So sometimes you think, oh, is this actually happening? Is it actually true? Because that's what, as a kid, you dream of. So for myself, not just for myself, but every single person who was involved in that, the team, the squad, is always a dream come true. It's something you dream of, you wish for as a cricketer, and it came true. And especially on the finals, to get it to a last ball. The actual final itself was
amazing.
I'm sure you watched it as
loved
well.
it. I loved
I know
every
a lot
minute
of
of it.
people watched it as well, the ups and downs and stuff. But I think, like I say, as a cricketer, or for myself, it's always a dream come true to not represent, but one thing is represent England. But I think another thing is playing World Cups, winning a World Cup for England, in England. I think that's like a one-time thing in generational, I think.
And as a bowler, when you were in, you know, your spell, I mean, one thing that I actually loved about your spell that day is that you actually bowled at a phenomenal economy rate that day. You know, I think the final score was, I think, 260, if I'm not mistaken, 261. And you actually bowled at, I think, under 4 and over.
Okay.
So what was going through your head when you were going through those overs?
Especially in a final. You know,
Yeah.
obviously, because you're playing a World Cup final, so the pressure is a bit more. But I think sometimes when you're in that zone and you're really focused, you don't take the you don't take that noise in.
Yeah.
You don't think it's a final. People are watching, it's on this and Sky Sports and all that. So for me, the mindset was very similar to whether it's a final or whether it was a normal game or whatever. It's right, let me just do what I do and try to, you know, do the best to my abilities. You have a certain plans, you talk to the captain and try to implement that. And for myself, fortunately, it came out okay in that side. Okay, didn't get the wickets I wanted, but that period, I kept it quite tight, which obviously, you know, restricted them to a certain amount of runs. So, yeah, so it was just a mindset again of not overthinking, of think this is a final, I've got to change things. It's again thinking, right, it's another game.
I love the
play
way
the
you said.
game.
I love the way you said that, because I think that comes into play a lot when,
Yeah,
when people are
100%.
in those big situations. Oh, I need to do something different. Mike Hessen actually mentioned this in one of his post-match interviews recently, where he said, you know, I think in these big games, a lot of people want to do stuff differently when we just actually need to go back to our basics and stick to our plan. I think that's what goes wrong a lot of the time in
No,
these big games.
100%. And that's not just for, like I say, World Cup final. That's it. Even if, as a young kid, if you're age of 11, 12, 13, and you're playing, say, club cricket, but then you go one step further, it's important to have the same mindset and have the same belief and do the exact same thing. Because if you start thinking, right, I'm playing in a final of a local team, all of a sudden you start changing the way you play. You won't actually fulfill your full potential. You won't express yourself of how you want to play, and the mindset then plays, you know, funny games. So it's really important that whichever format you play in, and wherever you play, whether it's your school, club, domestic, international, it's really important to have the same mindset of that and not thinking, right, I'm playing, oh, it's a final, or I'm playing against so and so, or he's a big hitter, he hits me for sixes, and because if you start thinking like this, then it really will put a real negative effect on how you perform on that day. So it's really important to make sure to think it's just another game. Let me just go out there and do the same thing I've been doing all my life. Nothing changes, and I'll give it my best shot. And that's how I try to really think. But so even in that final, that's what it was. It was just right, another game. Let me just go there, ball. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. It's a team game. It's not an individual sport.
Yeah.
So you're all together as one. There's no real things. So that's another thing that you can take from that is don't put so much pressure on yourself because it's not an individual thing. It's a collective. So when you're playing and the teams on the pitch, your ballers are there. So there's 5, 6 ballers. You're all collective as one thing. So it's not an individual thing of, oh, I need to perform well. Because if you don't perform well that day, there's other players who might perform well.
Yeah.
Then as a collective, you're doing a good job.
And as you said, you said you didn't take the wickets you would have liked to that day, but going back to the economy rate, that created the pressure for the other bowlers to take the wickets.
Yeah, and that's
So,
what it works. And that's how it works. Some days, other bowlers keep it tight. I get wickets. Sometimes I get wickets, they keep it tight. So if it's always working like that, and if you always know that this is a team game, and you're in it together as a team, you always will perform better. And not really isolating yourself to thinking, I need to do well, I must do well, I have to do well. Once you start questioning, and once you start putting this in your mind, things don't go your way. Yeah, it's a lot harder.
You mentioned the youth there a little bit, and one of the things that I see you've become really now involved in youth development. You've even opened the Adil Rashid Cricket Academy. Talk us a little bit about the inspiration behind opening the academy and sort of this new stage where it's more giving back to the game of cricket.
Yeah, it's always been giving back. I've had that academy now for myself personally for over 14, 15 years. So I did it a long time ago, since 2012. But it's ultimately giving it back to the community, giving back to the kids, because they always have dreams. Like I had a dream, they've got a dream. It's by giving them the dream to know that anything is possible from regardless of where you come from. You can come from, like you say, underprivileged background, wherever, it doesn't matter. But you've got a dream, it's possible. So for me to build an academy is to give them kids the dream to say, right, I want to become a professional cricketer. I can achieve that. It's possible. I've got the facilities. I've got the facilities. I've got the backing. I've got the resources to actually maybe, inshallah, potentially reach that one day. And that was the ultimate aim for that. Along the way as well, it's not just about that. It's about also getting people off the streets and getting into something productive, into sports, whether it was cricket, football, or whatever. But getting into that, keeping their mind occupied to that, and then getting them to love the game, having passion for the game, and ultimately that's how it goes. And then as they get into it, hopefully go all the way. So that was the whole aim, is bringing, like I said, youngsters, firstly, getting the passion and love, giving them hope to know that it's possible, but also at the same time, getting kids off the streets into sports. And like I say, sports is where everybody gels and people really have a common thing in that.
100%, and I'm so glad you said that, because I think that's a very vital thing that we sort of maybe losing a little bit as we're going along, is that these days with technology and everything available, entertainment available at your fingertips, it's something that we are losing. And I think sports is actually such a important, as you said, unifier or binder in, number one, keeping kids from doing bad things, but also from building those relationships and even building those skills. Because I think a lot of times through sports, something like learning how to lose is so important to development in your life, that you get so well from sports that you might not get from other things.
Yeah, definitely, because obviously as sports, it's a team game.
Yeah.
So it's always, like you say, plus you've got people from different backgrounds, different regions, so it's interacting with them, getting to know them, getting, the friendships come from them, understanding that, and that's the most important thing, is creating that from a young age where kids come together. They may not know each other, but they come together from different backgrounds, different religions, to get to know each other. People understand each other, and that's how they gel, and that's how you, like I said, that's how you get the friendships for life. That's how you expand, and that's how you get the knowledge of understanding of how people are, and setting that from a young age. So people, as they get older, they have the respect for, for all people from all walks of life. And ultimately, that's the aim as well.
No, 100%. Adil, one of the questions that I ask everybody at the end of the interview is, what message would you like people to take away from our interview today?
The message, I think, would be, from a cricketer point of view, I think just in any point of view, whichever work of life you want to go, whether it's cricket, sport, education, or whatever it is I would say for myself, how I try to go about things is work hard, play hard, and then for me, ultimately, because of how my mindset is, give it everything I have in whichever field you are in, leave no stones unturned, try your best, and then leave the rest in God's hands. So that's my mindset.
No, Adil, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for being on the show
problem.
today. As a cricket fan, like I said, it's an amazing experience to get to sit opposite you and chat to you. So thank you very, very much for taking the time with us today. And yeah, all the best in the future success. I can't wait to see what you do next.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
No, it's
Thank you
our
very much.
pleasure. All right, that's our show. I'm a true cricket fan and I'm just loving every minute sitting here. But I think the best takeaway that Adil put together today is mindset, just being at the forefront and the most important thing that we need to consider. My name is Mohammed Ebrahim Tayob and you're watching Chat EbT. Until next time.